It was noted by Steve that I appear to be avoiding taking a look at the water pump in there. So he supposed it might be because I have a stag and I daren't have a look. So we're going to have a look now. Don't know what I haven't taken off here. I'd have thought that should come off. Just checked the Haynes manual and yeah, this should definitely come off now. So, oh, I should have got movement there. So I just need to work that loose. Right, I'm going to leave that penetrating oil to see if that loosens it up in any way. The next thing I'm going to try here is seeing if I can break the seal between the water pump housing and the block using a Stanley knife, because I think it must be the seal. The gasket is sealing it too well, so we're going to try that. Just bringing you up close on the gasket here, and you can see, I mean, that's a huge gasket. Now I don't think the gasket is meant to be anywhere near that big. It's meant to just be a paper gasket, I think. I'll check on that, but that looks huge in there, so I'm assuming that they haven't used a proper gasket. I mean, I know they come in different sizes, but I'm assuming they haven't used a proper one. They just put in some gasket sealer or something to create something this size, and I think that might be why it's so tough to get out. So I don't know how I'm going to get much further in, to be honest, to release some of this stuff. I can get this side, I can get in on this side. Okay, and how far are we in? So we're into the we're in as far as the thread, but I can't get around the back here. Well, I haven't actually tried yet, but I don't think I can get around the back, so I don't know. I guess just a lot more time. just managed to knock this out of the back, and I think that is probably a normal seal. There's a couple of them together, so it's just well stuck on. Right, I've got this shaking a bit now, so let's see if we can get it off. Okay, so the next bit here, this is a left-handed thread. It even says it on here, got big LH on there. So we'll try to find the right bit for this. See if we can get this out. I don't see this going to be easy though. Right, I've taken a look at tools that are available, and there were fundamentally two. One is basically one of these nuts with some sort of washer welded on top, and presumably you pry it off. So you screw it in and pry it off somehow. And the other is basically a sledgehammer which you screw in and then knock up to get off. Now this tool is a tenner and the other one is £75, so I'm going to have a go at building something slightly different. And so I've got this piece of scrap steel from when I was last buying some, and I went through their scrap bin and they said I could take whatever I wanted. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this into a triangle to fit over here. In the centre of the triangle I'll put a hole for this to go through and bolt into the hole, and then I'm going to put 3 holes in the corners of the triangle, which I'll weld with a hole in the middle, and then I'll weld a nut over, or I might tap it, I don't know, but I'll put the 3 holes in there, and we will then we'll bolt the bolts into the holes with that locked in place in order to try to lift it out. I think that makes sense. So effectively I'm making a puller. At least that's the idea. We'll see how we get on. Two mistakes so far. One is I was just wondering there if I tightened this up if it would pull it out, but of course this is resting on it's slightly raised as the impeller, and so actually I was stripping the thread as I was turning that, so that's not great. Second mistake is I haven't quite got this far enough in, and so this is just here. So we're going to continue. We're going to try with just 2 holes, one here and one here, and see if that gives us enough to release it. But we might have a third go at it. Well, I honestly think this would have worked if I hadn't cocked it up early on. Excuse the language, but the problem is right here. When I tightened it, I over tightened it, I have stripped threads here. So I'm a bit stuck there now. Gonna have to buy a new one of those anyway. Now, so what I thought I'd do is weld another bolt on like that, and I can screw these down and get leverage. A couple of problems here. M8 bolt is what I went for. Not realising I don't have any M8 nuts, so I can't get it down. I've tried a 1/2 inch, I've tried everything I've got actually, so I think I'm going to have to go buy one, which is extremely irritating. Kind of stupidity. I'm trying to think where I might just have one. So this is an old 1/2 inch bolt which I've just re-dyed or re-tapped. and I'm now going to see if we can get it out. Well, I was certain I had some movement there before, and that it's higher than it was. I mean, yeah, definitely, it's higher than it was, so we've got it out some way. Just haven't got it all the way out yet. Still, right. So, I'll have a little think about what to do next. Tried that a second time and the weld broke again, so I'm not getting a good enough weld to do that. So I'm going to stop for now. This is why I was doing this, is because I want to find the bits that are difficult and work through them slowly whilst I'm working through other stuff as well. So I'm going to just put the housing back on there lightly, so I keep everything together, then we'll move on to other bits. I have here version 2 of my water pump puller. So I think the other one would have worked if I hadn't stripped the thread on this. I've now got that all the way in, and I've just tightened these down a bit. And the idea here is, as these tighten up, hopefully it will pull it out. Now, it might just bend the metal because it's much thinner metal. And that looks actually like it's what it's doing at the moment. Yeah, it's just bent the metal is all that's done. So I needed the thick metal I had before, but with a left-handed threaded nut that went all the way in. I'm going to show you how bent it is up close. So you can see it just bent it. So this was too thin. We're on to version 3 of the water pump puller. What I've done is I took the first one, which is the thicker metal. I drilled a big hole in the centre so that it fits over this central bit. I've then welded the other one on top. And hopefully I've welded it enough that it will all hold and be strong. I've got a bit of a problem with this one here, which is I've got a bit of weld there, so it'll be a bit tougher to drive this one through. Right, well that's pulled the Yeah. Okay, so in all three cases I've managed to pull my welded nuts off. Felt like they'd moved a bit there, but maybe not. Need to look at my nuts and see if I might need to, you know, they're not welding on for some reason. There's no reason why they shouldn't, so I wonder if I've just got something that doesn't weld. I might have bought stainless steel or something. I never really looked at that, so I might need to have another look. Felt like this was coming up a bit as well. Should work. The idea here is not bad. Look, this all held, those didn't. But no, I can't have moved. If it did move, it wasn't by much. Right, well, I think I'm going to have to buy one of the tools. If anyone's got any ideas or thoughts, or can tell me a better way of getting this out, but I actually thought that this approach should work, so I'm a little disappointed it hasn't. Just before I go, I have been trying also to just remove the impeller with vice grips. Like this, but it won't come up at all. I mean, I just can't get any, I don't seem to be able to get any vertical movement on it. And I've tried turning it a couple of times, turning the engine a couple of times just so that it's in a different position, and I'm not getting anything better. So so I need another approach. And right now the only thing I've come up with is if I get the little tool that screws in, it's got a hook on it, and I buy an engine hoist, and then I can use the engine hoist to, in theory, pull it out. Because if that doesn't do it, well, if that doesn't do it, nothing will. It's the next day, it's Friday. I decided to try version 4 of the puller, which I have here. So with version 3 the issue was that the bolts came off, so I made another piece which I welded a bit on top like that, so that should be strong. Okay, so it fits over the hole, then these should screw against the flange here. Okay, and by putting the thread in there, because it is relatively thick, I'm hoping that will hold. So we'll put this on now and see. Okay, so those are just slipping on their threads. They're just jumping threads. So, I don't know. Well, I think I've given up on ideas here. I mean, the only thing I'm thinking now is weld something on there, or maybe use a this is an M6 bolt, so maybe go up a size, if that would help, but I'm not sure why it would particularly. So help please.